Director Panchanathan and former Director Reed, thank you both for being here. I love the work of the NSF, and I remember our conversation a year ago, and the topics about foreign influence in our research are obviously still being brought up, and I'll touch on that in just a minute. Mr. Director, can you give me a sense, in your opinion, what's the assessment of the current state of commercial grid-scale energy storage for our electric grid? What's the status of that, would you say, in our country today? And this is commercial grid scale, just to separate it from research.
I would say it is in the much more in the research and development, and the commercial scale is just slowly getting into the picture. It is not anywhere near the full-scale deployment that you would expect.
And when you look ahead into a timeline of commercial grid-scale, affordable, reliable, resilient type installations, what's your best guess, or what are you hopeful about? What technologies are you hopeful about that you think might produce that, and approximately what timeline would you predict that?
There are two things that are important here. One is the storage technology. The other is the grid, the smart grid technology. Both of these are important, right? In the storage technology, there's a lot of work, and I'm excited to see even the work that we have supported in New York, basically in terms of advanced battery storage, regional innovation engine. There's a lot of work that is happening on the advanced battery technology, storage technologies, and new companies are coming into the fray. At the same time, the smart grid technologies with AI is also starting to build up. And thanks to the investments of Department of Energy, NSF, and other partners, I think, guessing is always not a good thing, because I've heard people who have said it may take 10 years, but the innovation spirit of NSF, of the United States, sometimes get things done much faster than that. But I see all of this deploying at a much higher rate and scale over the next decade.
Okay, thank you. That's very helpful. I was a battery officer on a nuclear submarine, and came from the industrial controls space before doing this. So I have some passing familiarity. Obviously, I'm not doing any research at the DOE labs on this, and they wouldn't hire me to do it. I'm not good enough. So thank you for that. I think it's an honest and fair assessment. It kind of matches my own in my own visit to the national labs. I want to touch on the last couple minutes here on foreign influence, foreign money, and particularly the intellectual property rights, leaking of dual-use technologies in particular to governments that are not sanctioned. The focus has been on China for quite some time, and I've met with the NSF Inspector General. I followed the GAO report that highlighted that, and frankly, it seems like you've led concrete steps to address that. And what I'm concerned about is that since the events of October 7th, some new issues have been brought to fore, and I'd like to just touch on those for a minute. If you go back a year ago, it's China, 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 and China. But there's a lot of concern on the Education and Workforce Committee for the influence of governments like Qatar, and the amount of funding that they have provided, and the billions, perhaps tens of billions of dollars into our universities, a lot of it flowing into research. One of the areas of particular concern is nuclear research being conducted at Texas A&M University, and the influence of the Qatari government in that. Recently, the Board of Regents at Texas A&M University actually had a closed-door meeting and came out changing their policy and expressing some concern, but no one knows why. No one knows what's been done. Can you shed any light in our last few seconds here of the influence of Qatar, and specifically around dual-use technology, perhaps nuclear?
I've said this in a general sense, that the less we are able to invest in our ideas and talent and innovations, then foreign nations want to see how they can take advantage of the ideas. Let me make this very clear.
Anything specific about Qatar, about nuclear?
I do not have enough information on that, Congressman Williams, but I'm happy to go back and get you an answer.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm not familiar with it as I was for the previous question, but what I will tell you is that we need to make sure that we are not letting these things happen, because people know that our higher education system, our research ecosystem, innovation ecosystem is a pride.
My time has expired. I very much appreciate your straightforward answers. Thank you.
Thank you.
I yield back, Mr. Chairman.